We do this thing as people where we put something or someone on this pedestal and we're like, boom, this is it. This is what I want, and I'm not going to settle for anything less. And although it's like good to somewhat do that, I feel like in a controlled state of mind, it's easy to let go of the imagination and let it run wild and have absolutely unrealistic expectations of someone or something. So let's try to scale this back to a specific topic and point, which most people think in terms of their partner when they're married, a husband or wife, whatever. You have this idea of the person, and then you start to kind of put them on this pedestal like, oh, well, when they're in my life, then my life is going to be complete and I'm going to be fixed and mended, and you're putting so much pressure on this person who you don't even know yet. So I have 5 reasons actually why this is terrible to do in your life. So number 1, unrealistic expectations. When you put someone on this pedestal, you idealize them, you expect this perfection out of them, which then naturally creates pressure for this person to meet those standards that are often not even communicated to them. They don't even know what they need to do. So of course, this leads to like disappointment, disillusionment when they show their flaws, because we all have them, right? Number 2, dehumanization. I mean, putting someone on a pedestal really dehumanizes them. You're not appreciating who they really are. Instead, you're just like imagining this constructed image of them that you have. This really makes people feel unseen or misunderstood, which then creates this constant friction in the relationship. Number 3, imbalance in relationships. So it creates this power imbalance because naturally, as you probably can guess, they're on a higher level naturally than you are. So let's imagine you're on the ground and they're on this pedestal. So the person doing the idealizing may feel inferior or dependent upon the person, which then this person could be naturally abusive. And then, hey-o, this is why also people could be staying in these relationships. So that's not good also for you, because now we're getting into the destruction of yourself, right? 4, stunted personal growth. If you put something or a person, it could be even a career or lifestyle, whatever, on a pedestal, you might neglect your own values, needs, or your path in life. So you're chasing this ideal rather than forging your own direction. Like, well, I always wanted to have children and I want to just have 4 children. Okay, but now, right, you're neglecting your own personal things. So it's got to have a nice, healthy balance. 5, increased risk or portrayal of resentment. When this illusion breaks, because no one is going to be living up to this perfection that you have created in your brain, it often leads to intense feelings of betrayal or resentment that aren't fair to the other person. Okay, those are my 5 reasons. Think about it for a second, because let me tell you, I think that really this is why we have significant marriage problems where more than 50% of people end up in divorce, is because there is this uncommunicated expectation, but also this pedestal type of mentality where they're all lovey-dovey and they're like, we met at a coffee shop and then we took a train ride and then we sat next to each other and I knew it was fate. And then you forced that this person was the one for you, even though it could have just been a test for you all along. They didn't really have a lot of ideals with you, but you kept telling yourself in your brain that this person was the one. So what do? Well, you cater to their needs first. You you pretty much tell yourself every night that you're like, I'm happy, I'm enjoying this is great. And you shouldn't be telling yourself that you're happy every night. It should just be a feeling. So then naturally, You might have this thing of, well, I always wanted a guy, and I know from my past relationships that this is what I need from a man, or this is what I need from a woman. And then you're like, okay, well, be this. And then the woman or the guy looks at you and they're like, that's not me. I'm not doing that. And then the communication starts coming out, and then all of a sudden the fighting happens. So this is exactly why you need to scale back this pedestal type approach, because it is only hurting you and the other person. You need to get it through your head, okay? And I've had this thought, and I was like this. I used to put like my imaginary wife on a pedestal, and I mean, years ago I would do this. You have to break your mold of it, because you're really going to just hurt, and destroy your future relationship with that person. I am telling you, you're gonna do it. And it stinks, and I'm sorry, but you need to manifest in a different way and in a better way. If you are not level with your counterpart, wife, husband, you're going to be miserable. When one dips up higher, let's just play this scenario out. Ready? Easy, common one. Okay, let's say you have a great day at work. Okay, let's say I have the best day ever, and then my wife comes home and she has one of the worst days at work ever. Okay, there's an imbalance in our days, right? Right away. Okay, the worst thing that I could do is probably tell my wife, oh my gosh, well, let me tell you, I had the best day ever, and this happened, and that, right? And I'm just like pouring salt on the wound almost. She's like, wow, okay, well, let me tell you about my day, right? The best thing to do is be level with her, to support her so that she doesn't feel alone. So I would say, hey, tell me about your day, because I can kind of tell, right? Like something's up. What's going on? Okay, she tells her about her day. She vents it out to you. Awesome. And then she throws it back on you and is like, okay, well, how was your day? And be like, I don't know, it's all right. Nothing really to report on. Kind of like an average day. But hey, let's go do something together. Let's go watch a movie. Let's go out. Whatever. And you try to shake it off to try to make her day a little bit better in the end. Why? You're not putting yourself above her, because you don't want to put you above on a pedestal her, so that she's looking up to you like, oh, wow, you had a good day. That is the best example that I can think of with that. We are better at using empathy with our relationships, because it has that naturally, that balance scale when you do it. When you feel the other person's feelings, you're like, oh, I shouldn't really do this. Let me scale it back. Or, hey, she needs this right now. I'm going to do this. That's why relationships are work. So some people don't want to put that in, then therefore your relationship's going to stink. I mean, that's just how it goes, right? Like any professional athlete that is good at their craft has to practice it day in and day out. Okay, in order for them to be good at the sport. The same exact thing is what happens with work, or a hobby, a skill, a relationship. So the fact is, like, when people just like feel like they get the girl or the husband, and then they're like, all right, well, we're married now, and then they just completely sink to like who they are as a person. That, I know I'm segueing a little bit, but that's not doing anything for you either. Okay, so know that no one is perfect. Everyone has flaws. The more that you put someone on a pedestal, you're hurting yourself, and you're putting pressure on somebody that you may know or may not even know yet. So it's really important to scale back, focus on yourself, and don't think about that stuff. All right? Believe me, don't. You're going to be happier off. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you would like to send me a question or comment or whatever about this episode, let me know, or anything else. My lines are in the description below. All right. Thanks, guys.